under the administration. I think we have been, we haven't cast our arms widely enough to include the entire industrial base, including the new upcoming disruptive innovators. And we're really, we need more upside capacity, as our production rate is showing, both in building and even in repairing. And so we have to cast our arms wider. And I think the administration, and I said this to the secretary the last time he was here for a classified hearing, I think the administration is blowing a lot of cobwebs out of the system and doing that in a way that we won't get to where we need to get absent that. And so I give you guys credit for going down that path in a good way. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
But it would be nice if the Navy could tell us exactly what they think we want. I mean, we can still make our own decisions, but it would be nice if they tell us exactly what they think, looking at where they, our potential conflicts are, what capacities really need. So, Chairman Wicker.
Well, I want to thank both of you for filibustering long enough for me to get down here and just make a statement. The space shuttle astronauts were picked up in the Pacific by a ship called the John Murtha. And I had the opportunity decade or two ago to be a colleague of John Murtha. I was a relatively junior congressman from the state of Mississippi, and John Murtha was chairman of a very important subcommittee in the Appropriations Committee. And John Murtha used to say basically what our chairman just said: tell us what you need. And this is your opportunity. And also, on the record, to perhaps scratch your head about it later on. But this is the reason we have these hearings. Sometimes we take people to task and point out shortcomings. But yes, I would echo what Senator Scott has said. Make sure that you do your best to help us understand exactly what you need. Both of you, coming from the uniformed service and also from the administration. And I'll say this, Senator Kane, I do appreciate the bipartisanship of the discussion today. And frankly, this morning, at a closed hearing down in the SCIF, but also in an open hearing, there was quite a bit of support for the proposition that this country very much needs a quantum leap in our fleet. And of course, this subcommittee hearing today is more about one specific aspect of it, the unmanned part, which has got to be one of the places where we can make a quick, relatively speedy quantum leap. So I appreciate that. Am I correct, Admiral, that at one point the Navy did buy a small unmanned fleet, but then for some reason decided not to fund it anymore? Do you have an understanding of what happened there, and wasn't that just the opposite signal that lawmakers needed to send
Senator,
to industry?
There were small unmanned surface vessels purchased under the Replicator program and given to the Navy for experimentation and in response to some operational needs. And so this preceded the creation of PAE RAS, and now with Ms. Gassler in place as the acquisition executive for all of our unmanned systems, we are working with her to articulate our requirements for medium and small unmanned surface vessels so that we can move forward and ensure that the fleets have what they need for payloads on medium unmanned surface vessels, but also the various versions of small unmanned surface vessels we need.
Okay, that's helpful. And Ms. Gassler, Do you agree that Secretary Phelan was making a very important statement in even creating your operation?
Yes, sir. I think we are the only PAE across the services that focuses specifically on the robotic and autonomous systems, and he and RDA will say that there is a reason that they chose RAS to be the first PAE within the Navy. I've since stood up several others because there is an importance in looking at how fast we can go, and they thought putting all of the systems together. They were very fragmented across the Navy and the Marine Corps. Putting them together gave us the capability and capacity and the authorities we needed to create capabilities, not just by widgets or small boats, but we note all of the solutions are system of systems, and we now own all of the systems in the system of systems to create an entire effect, not just, buying to a quantity.
Well, Ms. Gassler, it seems to me that you've been presented with a unique opportunity to be a game changer in this regard. And I do think we have a proposal for a 50% increase in our defense manufacturing for the very reason that this administration intends for the next year or two to amount to legislation that is a game changer. So I would challenge you again, specifically give us the details of how we can make this as easy as possible for you and as reliable and as efficient an expenditure of your portion of the federal funds. So I thank you both, and I thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Ranking Member, for allowing me to come in here and add my congratulations and support.
Thank you, Chairman. I just have one more question. Do you have Admiral? Do you have a very specific request from the Navy of what they want in custom containerized payloads and the vessels?
We have one very specific requirement that we are acquiring now. We know that there are more coming, and we are building the requirements for them to lead the fleet. And so after we had the one specific requirement from U.S. Pacific Fleet, we recognized that there were going to be a similar collection of requirements from all of the fleets. And so the request went out to collectivize all of those inputs, tell us what you need. We know that some of them will be logistics capability, some of them will be sensors, both for anti-submarine warfare and as radars. We know that some of them will be for effectors, both non-kinetic and kinetic effects. And so there are industry partners already working with us and the Department of the Navy Rapid Capabilities Office to show us what's possible, so that, again, with top-level requirements for containerized payloads in general already established, we can then take a specific mission, make that an annex to those top-level requirements to specify what goes in the container, and then move out to purchase that and field it to the fleet.
Senator Kane?
I also have one last question. Undersea capabilities is one of the sort of areas of focus under AUKUS Pillar 2. And I almost always ask an AUKUS question in a hearing like this. Talk about how you're trying to integrate the work you're describing in with our allies as the, SecNav and CNO and others are thinking about this problem we're describing, how to come up with the right capacity. How are we analyzing the capacities of our allies to integrate that thinking in?
So within the Undersea portfolio, I have part of it, and part of it remained with DRPM submarine and PAE Undersea. So what remained with them was anything that was launched or recovered by a submarine. So they still have that portfolio. I have the portfolio that has the large UV and the extra large UV that are not launched and recovered by the submarine. In that case, we are working on some additional prototypes and testing right now. in some cases, we are coordinating directly with the UK and Australia on some of their systems, even testing their systems as surrogates for things we may want to buy. On a bigger scale, because our requirements are that we obviously are interoperable with our main battle force, our conventional forces, with our shore infrastructure, and we spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that those architectures and all those systems are interoperable with our allies and partners. That also then means, by extension, that our systems are interoperable. But I have had, not during AUKUS talks, but during Five Eyes talks, I've had specific conversations about the RAS architectures that we want to build and how they need to not just maintain interoperability, but almost interchangeability, so that we could all operate together under similar, C2 software and communications architectures.
Could you foresee a time when, in the marketplace that you're operating, having established the kinds of platforms that you might want to have available on that marketplace, that industrial innovators from some of our allied nations, like Five Eyes nations or AUKUS nations, could have their platforms up and available on the marketplace for those who would say, yeah, that's a capacity that I want to be able to acquire?
I think we could look at that. I think the first thing it might be is the other way around, is that we have talked to a number of the allies who would like systems that we are currently procuring from American manufacturers.
This morning when I asked Admiral Paparo about AUKUS, he said he's very impressed with the investment, the infrastructure investment from the Australian government. He says the key now is getting their industrial base really revved up to do it. And obviously, if that industrial base believes that there's a market not only to, meet AUKUS Pillar 1, but there's other opportunities for them, then that sends them the signal that they should make even more investment and get more innovative. So I don't need to say that to you. I know that you get that already, but I just wanted to put that on the record.
Anything else?
Nope.
Chairman Wicker, you have anything else?
No, thank you.